Leviathan. The very name conjures vivid images of a massive, fearsome sea monster. But what exactly is Leviathan really? Is it merely a myth, or truly so immense and terrifying that it has remained hidden from human eyes until now? The earliest mention of Leviathan appears in the Book of Job, where it is described as a colossal sea creature capable of sinking 1,000 ships with ease. It is so powerful that only God can defeat it. Besides the Bible, it is also mentioned in Jewish texts, where it is depicted as a giant serpent dwelling in the sea, capable of turning day into night. It is portrayed as an evil entity that can corrupt minds, bring chaos, and instill fear in those who encounter it. Not just Jewish and biblical texts, but also ancient Babylonian and Norse mythologies. Babylonian texts call it Tiamat, a fearsome sea monster of chaos. Norse mythology mentions Jormungandr, a giant serpent encircling the entire world. The intriguing aspect is that different civilizations across various time frames mention similar ancient creatures, but under different names. This raises the fascinating question, why is that the case? If different cultures living in separate times described similar ancient creatures, was it imagination, or did this truth fade into obscurity over generations? Leviathan's importance isn't just as a sea monster. Religiously, it holds a much deeper meaning. In the Bible, it signifies sin and evil. Leviathan is also considered a form of Satan. In Jewish tradition, it is described as a creature of immense power and terror that will ultimately be defeated by God in the end, symbolizing divine triumph. Despite the cultural differences, it is always associated with fear, dread, and the unknown. Some historians believe that Leviathan doesn't actually exist, but rather, people mistake certain deep-sea creatures for it, like whales or sharks. In ancient times, people knew little about the sea and oceans. Whenever they saw a strange creature like a whale or shark, they assumed it was a sea monster. During the Viking era, sailors sighted a giant squid and named it Kraken. Many believe that the Leviathan is actually the Megalodon, a prehistoric shark over 50 feet long. People in ancient times might have mistaken this massive shark for Leviathan, and perhaps the stories of the Megalodon are based on the Leviathan. These ancient myths and legends continue to fascinate us today. Some historians connect Leviathan to another ancient creature, the Levithan worm, a very large ancient serpent. Much is unknown about Leviathan, and these ancient creatures' stories may have merged over time, but the story doesn't end here. In modern times, there have been numerous sightings that raise questions about the existence of Leviathan. In 1997, a strange and mysterious sound was recorded on sonar named the bloop. This sound was so loud it could be heard up to 5,000 kilometers away, and science still can't explain what caused it. Could it have been the legendary Leviathan? Around the same time, a group of divers spotted a very large sea creature in the deep sea. They claimed it was even bigger than a blue whale, which is already the largest animal on Earth. Unlike the slow-moving blue whale, this mysterious creature was incredibly fast, moving through the water as if teleporting, almost like a ghostly apparition. But until you believe in its existence, will you ever? In 2012, another sighting occurred. Japanese researchers spotted a strange creature in the Pacific Ocean, too large for the camera. Some speculated it was a giant squid, the Kraken, but many researchers believe it was something else. Could it be Leviathan? In the Bermuda Triangle, the Mariana Trench and the Pacific Ocean, signals have been detected that might belong to a mysterious sea creature. These movements are very fast, making it difficult to find solid evidence. Could it be Leviathan? But there's one last thing I want to discuss with you. Recently, a video from Indonesia went viral, showing something swimming behind an island. From a distance, it looks like a giant monster. But the truth is, the snake-like movement is just waves in the ocean. People, seeing the right time, portrayed it as Leviathan. Those calling it Leviathan probably don't realize what Leviathan would look like if it appeared today. For comparison, there's a famous image of Earth showing a snake-like head forming below South America. If Leviathan were real, its head would be enormous. Calling a small wave in Indonesia. Leviathan is incorrect. Leviathan is a mythical sea monster. Leviathan's existence remains unproven, but it fascinates many. It exists in many ancient books and stories. Science suggests deep-sea gigantism is real. This suggests that any creature in the deep sea tends to grow significantly larger over time. If these creatures were to surface, we would consider them to be sea monsters, like the kraken seen during the Viking era, or perhaps even sea serpents. Leviathan might be a creature that has grown immensely large in the deep sea over countless years. But who are we to say, considering we've only explored about 5% of the ocean's vast expanse? And by explored, I mean truly explored. 95% of Earth's oceans remain unexplored. What lies hidden within this 95% is incredibly intriguing, and perhaps you're curious to know more about it. Even though we haven't explored it all, we know that the deep sea is home to some very strange creatures, including the doomsday fish, the anglerfish, which we've discussed before in terms of whether it will bring about the end of the world, or just another ocean mystery. I'll create a dedicated video to reveal what else is hidden in the mysterious depths of this deep ocean. In the real world, who knows what lurks beneath the ocean's surface? But in video games, the Leviathan is incredibly popular and often featured in various forms. Games like God of War prominently feature Jormungandr, the world serpent, and Pirates of the Caribbean showcases a fantastic sea monster. Similarly, there's Percy Jackson's underwater adventures with mythical creatures. I've been discussing sea creatures, deep sea creatures, and video games because all of these are inspired by the Leviathan itself. We may never find proof of its existence, either because it never existed, or because the sightings are never significant enough to prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. So I ask you, is Leviathan real, or just a figment of our imagination? Or is everything we've discussed merely a myth, a story passed down through generations? Until the day Leviathan reveals itself to the world, let's assume it's alive and hiding somewhere in the vast, mysterious waters. Because the story we started about Doomsday is said to end with Leviathan, the mythical sea monster. If you enjoy such mysterious and intriguing stories, please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.